the usual, I'd say amateur hour, but I don't think it's amateur hour. Let me just refresh and make sure. I'm sure we're live. I see people in chat. Did you want to do the intro or do you want me to do the intro?
I'll do the intro. I think you did it last time.
I think I did too. I can't ever remember. Somebody will tell us,
Yeah.
right?
You're wrong and you're wrong.
Um, I think we're live. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. I'm ready
Uh,
whenever you're ready. And I'm
I
sure everyone in chat's ready.
I am ready, but YouTube. Oh, there we go.
Did it hang up for you too? Because,
Now I've got a video.
oh man.
I mean, we can't get that fresh Hello Fresh money, but we get Joe
Right?
Biden and Sherrod Brown advertisements. I mean, come on,
Oh, I
come
didn't
on.
have that. I had a game.
Yeah. Well, I'm in a battleground state, and it's a U.S. election.
Oh, I think we're going to have a Canadian one this fall.
Oh, that's right. You guys don't like know when your elections are. It just kind of happens when, you get angry with someone.
Well, we had there was like I don't want to say like a coalition, but there was like an agreement between two of the parties,
Ah,
like including with one party and the party in power right now. So it would stop kind of like an early election. And then today, the leader of that party was like, yeah, now I'm ripping up this agreement.
by the way, welcome to Star Wars Galaxy of Hero political cast.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Uh, in other news. uh,
We ready?
I'm ready if you're ready.
All right. Good evening. This is H&N, the Holotable News Network, and you're not even remotely close to around the clock Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, reaction, review, theory crafting, and more source. I am Pico Birdie, your host, and today I am joined by my co-host CeliacSarah. Sarah, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am finally recovered after a week in the desert in August. That's a great idea.
Is it always in August in
Yes.
Vegas?
Because so there's two reasons. There's a longer reason that I will not share on the podcast. And two, it turns out getting a large number of hotels in the desert in August is really easy to do because no one wants to go to the desert in August.
You don't say. I mean, I might.
Yeah, yeah. For folks that have been maybe keeping an eye on Discord, I had a dream this week. I actually last week I got to do a presentation to a bunch of my peers around my career journey, and it was really great. And they had sat me on a Lego chair,
Hmm.
and then some friends photoshopped it.
I did. I did see the photo.
Yeah. Let's just say it was not until after the fact we realized it looked like a toilet. So yay!
uh, these things happen.
They do. They do. It's yeah.
It's fine. It just happens. We get a lot of people at work where after the fact I'm like, it kind of looks like you have like an antenna coming out of your head there. You might want to redo that. So it's not just you.
Look, we've there's actually something great that's been going on lately. We have, as been pointed out recently, we have had some irregular schedules with the
Yes.
show.
Yes.
It is summer and things like that. But also, the more and more we seem to delay, like the more news that CG tries to pile on us between those windows. So we get these big, huge, awesome shows with lots of things to talk about.
I know. We've got tons to go over today. There's like a whole bunch of kits and
There's, uh, so is it if we don't call it a road ahead, but it's the same thing as a road
Mhm.
ahead, is it a road ahead?
I liked Mopoki's term and it's the on-ramp ahead.
It's the
And I think we need to trademark that
yeah,
because that is I mean, this was more of a road ahead than the road ahead in my opinion.
was it really?
Yeah. Okay, so my I don't like and maybe this is because I work in news. I
Yeah.
don't like being told information you've already told me. So, and this happens in news all the time where somebody will be working on a
Yeah,
story. And I'm like, why are you working on this? This is 3 days old. This is not news anymore. And it's that was the same thing for me with the road ahead. Was I was like, why are you telling me this? This is information you've already told me.
sure.
Where so this one that we got, I was like, cool, new information. We're getting this mercenary tag information now. We're finding out who has this stuff. Merrick was dropped. Like there's a ship coming. Like there's all this stuff happening that I'm like, this is a road ahead.
I guess the Merc tag and explaining the logic, like that was a net new add to the game. But
Yeah.
I think that if they would have called the update 2 months ago
Mm-hmm.
a community update or whatever we called it, um, I don't think the hate would have happened.
I agree.
As we saw this week, um, CG coming up with new names for things just throws people into, poop storms.
Yeah,
Um,
we can
yeah.
talk about it. Oh man. Where do we even want to start then?
Where do we want to start? Do we want to talk about? I didn't even read the patch notes. I saw them and I got busy, but I assumed there was nothing really. Yeah, there was a
Oh,
couple of bug fix. But do we
yeah.
want to talk about the community update?
Yeah, let's do that because why not? You know what? Like this is pretty friggin' cool. This is the road ahead that should have been. This is
Roads. Where we're going, we don't need any
this
roads.
is like, we got like the before in July, it was like the dirt trail with the cart and the horse
Yeah.
meandering along, and now we've got like some nice paved
Yes.
asphalt.
Yes.
So, um, okay. I mean, I feel bad. I kind of like just spoiled it all, but we've got like a whole bunch of info on this
We do.
mercenary tag.
Yep.
Um, I almost want to feel like it's too much to even like read through
I,
live.
I will say before we get into it, they the mercenary tag landed much better than I expected it to.
Yeah, I think so too because I was more like, well, what are you doing with this kind of
Yeah.
thing? Because exactly like this question here, isn't a mercenary like a bounty hunter? And they're like, well, yeah, but also no.
But also two of the first three bounty or the mercenaries that we're going to give you are going to be bounty hunters.
Yeah,
So,
but also no.
yeah, but no, but
Yeah.
but yes and no. I mean, so in it, so I think the biggest thing, and you're right, it's kind of weird to do. If we were professional podcasters,
Hmm.
we actually could have done a Q&A with this where I ask you questions and then you send us meatheads answers back, and it feels like we practiced, but instead we're just like, oh yeah, now that we're going to talk about this, what's the format we want to use?
We're just gonna wing it like usual. Um, I mean, there's tons. So they go over that the fact that like it is similar to a bounty hunter, but whereas bounty hunters are going out and um like bounty hunting.
They're getting people. They're recovering
Yeah.
people is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Uh, mercenaries are soldiers of fortune.
Yeah, they're doing work.
They're gonna rob a bank. They may
Right.
murder someone. Uh, the so interesting. Like the mercenary idea is the episode of Clone Wars with Embo and the where they're all like defending the town. Like that
Mhm.
is technically mercenary work.
Right, right, because you're being a bodyguard of sorts. Um and then they gave us like a whole bunch of characters listed. Uh
Yes.
you could probably argue that there's people missing, I'm sure.
So all right. So this is I read through this. There's some interesting ones in here.
Mhm.
I have a problem with Han Solo being added to the list.
Okay.
Okay. Han Solo is not a mercenary. He's greedy.
Yeah, he is greedy.
He didn't take that job with Leia because he's just always out looking for work. He took that job to get them, off of Tatooine or to go rescue Leia, that whole job for no other reason than I'm just going to make a lot of money. Like that's not mercenary work. That's just that's just being a con man.
Right. You're just taking advantage of
Yeah,
a situation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Again, Hondo, arguably a mercenary,
Hmm.
probably not. Uh,
I mean, there are. I'm not surprised by any of the bounty hunters being on here,
no,
to be
no.
honest. Cara Dune makes sense.
Yep.
Doc Afra makes sense. Um,
Django, absolutely
yeah.
a mercenary.
Yeah. Like there's
Um,
tons on here that make sense.
Kira, not a mercenary. She was a
No.
straight up criminal.
Yeah. I don't think
Uh,
Kira is a mercenary. Yeah. I don't think she should be there.
the Mandalorian literally worked for the guild, the bounty hunter guild.
Hmm.
Um, but again, I don't. I would rather have a broader set of characters because I think this gives CG this really awesome design space to create some interesting and new teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally
Uh,
agree. And I can see why they probably went wider
yep.
to start.
Now the way it's supposed now, correct me if I'm wrong. The way this is supposed to work is um, all of the all of the mercenaries will have a little. I'm assuming like a blue icon over their head to show that they're a mercenary,
That's what I'm assuming as well.
and then leaders will have abilities that mercenaries will work with, similar to bounty hunter payouts.
Yeah. And right now, the only mercenary leader is going to be Baylan.
But that's you've got to imagine they're gonna touch up
Which
some other kids, right?
I honestly, I mean, I'm assuming so, but also like, how are you making that happen? Because some like Kira has a leadership, but she's getting the mercenary tag. So are you gonna have a mercenary leadership tag and a mercenary tag like in the background?
So I think at least the way that I'm interpreting it is it's less about there's a it's my guess would be it'll be like the bounty hunter payout. Like part of the
Right.
leadership will be what the benefits to mercenaries under that leader are, and there might be a subcategory underneath it because they also said that Shin and Marok, is
Yeah.
that the guy's name? Shin and Marok, they will have parts of their kit that will interact with the bounty hunter tag
Hmm.
or stacks of, excuse me, mercenary tags in their kit.
Yeah, but I'm just confused by it because you're only going to get the soldier of fortune thing if you have a mercenary leader. But right now, only Baylan is the mercenary leader.
Yes.
So you have all
Yes.
of these characters, and like Bacon 575 just said in chat, like, in what world are you putting Afra underneath Baylan? Like, that's not happening.
You're not, but think about like the touch up abilities this gives to for people's kits. Like with Afra's kit, she's got, it's dark side droids, the two that she
Hmm.
comes with, and it's that what's that fifth spot that always seems to float around. Well, what if now you can actually that they make a modification to her kit and you can bring in a bounty hunter
Right.
because she's worked with a ton of bounty hunters in the past from that. So, like I think that that's the interesting space that they give them with this.
Yeah.
Uh, what if they actually went through and took a pass at all the bounty hunter leadership abilities that are terrible so that there's a reason to actually use them?
Yeah. I'm just more curious, like, how this is going to play out in the
Yeah.
future with multiple teams, not just
Yep.
Baylan being the leader.
Yeah. Uh, what's so the first thing that actually I thought of with the whole idea with Balin and these tags are so there's the phase 2 Hondo mission uh,
Mm-hmm.
in territory battles.
Mm-hmm.
And now that Balin will be a leader, it's a neutral, it's in a middle zone. So now you can actually build a mercenary team around Hondo instead of like trying to patch together a Galactic Legend team with 6 or 7 weird characters to get that done. You can actually you should be able to take up a straight mercenary team and actually clear that zone because you've actually got, I don't know, synergy with Hondo for once.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That would
How
be that would be
how crazy
great.
would it be if Hondo ended up being on the Balin team only because, Hondo doesn't seem to have a squad that he's great with.
And he just kind of slides in now.
He
I
just
mean,
yeah, he just moves into that spot. So,
I think this has a lot of potential.
yes.
I just want to see what happens outside of
Or
Baylan.
they go give CeliacSarah something around that, and all of a sudden, I don't know, she becomes a viable character because I don't think she really works outside of
Mm-hmm.
it. There's just a lot of really interesting things that they can do from that standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like, so actually, the example that Meathead used here in the squad makeup is kind of highlighting like where my brain is getting stuck. So he's saying if you have a squad of Baylan, Shin, Marok, Han, and Dash, Baylan, because he's the initial leader, the mercenary
yeah,
leader, he's going to hand out the stacks to everyone, including himself. Shin and Marok will also get stacks to themselves. I'm assuming that's got to do with their kits.
yeah,
And then Han and Dash, oh, Jesus, Han and Dash are only getting stacks because Baylan is there handing
yes,
them out. So even though, like, if you were to take Han and Dash and stick them under a different squad of all mercenaries, as of right now, there's no leader that would hand out those stacks because it's
okay.
just Baylan.
So maybe this is 100% pure speculation, which again, I made fun of people who wanted me to do a lot of that this week. What if a stack of Soldier of Fortune, regardless of who the leader is, gave you 10% offense and 10% uh, armor penetration, something
Yeah,
to that
just
effect.
something.
So any mercenary leader would hand that out just by default. Like that's like a game-wide setting. So at minimum, if you could put like under a dash lead, if you stick a couple of other, with what they've got I think they've got Vandor Chewie. Is
Yep.
that on there? Yep, Vandor Chewie and L3 on that team automatically just get 5% offense and 5% armor penetration. Like that would be really cool because again, you get a little bit of bump for those teams, and then what you really probably find is that kits will like, hey, for every stacks of this, blah 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 blah, and other things that you could add on top of it from that side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you've got other characters. So what? Balin's a lead. All of the bounty hunters are a lead.
Yeah. Kira's a lead. Doc Afra's a lead.
Yep. Dash is a lead.
Uh, Mando is a lead.
Cal Kestis.
So
Vandor, Vethan, Young Han, Young Lando are not. Zalbar is not.
it just feels like, and like they did say in the future mercenaries that come to the game will also hand out this buff. At least that's how I
Yeah.
understood it as well. Let me go back and double check. Um, blah blah blah. All future mercenaries, or sorry, older characters with the mercenary tag will benefit from the effects that Baylan, Shin, and Marok and all future mercenaries bring to the table in regards to Soldier of Fortune stacks. So we're relying on more mercenaries to
Yeah.
come down the line, basically. But then, I don't know. I'm like, you have I don't know. I'm curious what they're gonna do because I feel like there's characters here that you would not want to put
Yeah.
elsewhere.
I'm I'm leaning towards kit touch-ups on the leaders to include something to this effect. Because who was the first payout character they brought to the game?
Oh God.
Was that
When
was
did
that
they?
Bosk?
I was gonna say, was it Boss? Because it was when they would have brought out contracts, right?
Yes.
And when bounty hunters got kind of like I don't want to say like a rework, but
But they gave
I think it was
contracts
Bosk.
to all of the bounty hunters when that happened.
Yeah.
I wonder if part of this title update doesn't include a pass to do some type of interaction with Soldier of Fortune with all of the leaders in this.
I'm assuming it has to, and I'm assuming there has
Yeah.
to be something in the back end that we're not going to see coding
Yeah.
wise that makes it work in terms of like, again, initially only Baylan Skoll is going to be giving
Yeah.
this out, but you have characters listed that are leaders, so you have to be able to block. In my opinion, like you have to be able to block. Say you throw Kira lead in, and I know I keep using Kira as the
Yeah.
example, but Kira lead in with Dash, Vandor, L3, like you take in like a traditional quote unquote Kira
Yep.
lead squad. They're all mercenaries, but they have to now be able to block this Soldier of Fortune buff from happening because Kira's a leader.
Yeah.
But she's not a
Yeah.
mercenary leader. But she's still a leader. But she's a mercenary. But she's not like
That would actually be really cool. Like if like think about like that Kira team, they're all mercenaries.
yeah. And that's what I
So
mean is
maybe that bumps that whole thing up.
but because there's no Baylan Skoll lead, they don't get
Yeah.
anything from this. They're just, twiddling their thumbs. They're like, we got new badges, guys, but they're just velcroed on. Like,
Oops, I tore that one off.
yeah.
Oh no.
So anyway, I feel like I dove really deep into that for no reason.
But I mean, this is exciting. This is in
Yeah.
theory, it's a fundamental change to how they're going to bring characters. Now, so here's an interesting question, because normally when we see these types of changes come in, they're tied to a Datacron set.
Right. Yeah.
So do you expect to see Baylan in November? No.
It'll be October. No.
September,
It'll be
October,
November.
October.
It'll be November when we get a new set. That's right. The
Okay.
November. So it'll be the last not the last, but like the third run of the Ezra Conquest will be a new set.
Oh, there's no way that they're going to drop Baylan.
I think they will drop Baylan and Ezra at the same time.
Then do you think that then they delay Ahsoka out of November?
We're not getting Ahsoka before we get Ezra.
Ezra drops in November though, right?
Yeah, he'll be mid-November. I think it's like the 12th or whatever that Monday is.
So do you see this is insane. Do you see Baylan or November 1st and Ahsoka November 15th?
I see Baylan. Okay, so we get the Great Mothers tomorrow.
Yep.
Um, we get the Great Mothers tomorrow, so arguably they would be farmable beginning of November.
Yes.
So I would not be surprised if we see Baylan, like late October, early November. Then you get Ezra.
So
Oh,
okay, actually, here's the timeline, folks. Write it
mhm.
in stone. All right. So Baylan is the the Friday before, like the Baylan drops the patch that brings the next Datacron sets in,
Mhm.
and as part of that Datacron set, we see the the mercenary faction and some level nines associated with the mercenary leads.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that would be like the last week of October.
Mhm.
Then Conquest for 2 weeks. Ezra drops, I think someone said 11 on the
Yeah.
11th. And then Ahsoka is released over anniversary.
Yeah.
So the third week of November.
I think we see Ahsoka within less than 2 weeks after we get Ezra, is when I
Yeah.
think we see Ahsoka. Baylan, I did forget, which is, I don't know how I forgot this. I'm literally looking at her name on the screen. We have to get Shin before we can get
Yep.
Baylan. So say we get Shin in
2
2 or
weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if we get Baylan 2 weeks after we get Shin.
And do you think that would be Marok drops the same week?
I would not be surprised at all because
Okay.
when we got Bo, she dropped, I think it was like a week after
Yeah.
the last marquee that was required for her. And I'm thinking it's going to be the same thing for Baylan. He'll
So
drop within 2 weeks of the last marquee for him.
so with the new marquee structure,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's out of I don't think it's people shoot me for this later. I don't think it's out of line to release a Journey Guide character 7 days after the release of that marquee because it's now set up that you can get to 7 stars. In fact, you're rewarded to getting to 7 stars at the end of that week-long marquee event.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, the marquees run Thursday to Thursday.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a case like Thursday and then the following Monday
Yeah.
after that week is done, Baylan launches or something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, like they've been dropping these types of releases before marquee characters have been farmable, even before the marquee cadence changed, like the marquee structure changed. So I'm not like I don't see why they would change it. And the only reason why I'm trying to figure it out is because we know if they wait until December to drop everything, like to do
Yeah.
the traditional December release where they would normally put in like that legendary or whatever hero's journey, whatever the character is there, everything is going to be available for everyone to farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that just doesn't make sense in terms of a like their typical make some money off of the marquee so that you get it on the first run kind of thing. Yeah, which is why I'm thinking like we're gonna see Baylan before I think we'll see Baylan in October.
I mean, most people put on weight during the holidays, but my pile of gear is going to lose weight during the holidays because of all of the characters that are going to drop during
There's
that window.
so much. And then assuming, and I mean, they said Baylan's an epic confrontation in game only, not in the road ahead. That wasn't really a road ahead. In game only. If he's the same as Bo, he'll be back monthly, give or take.
But what if he's an elite?
What if he's an elite epic confrontation? He's an eek.
Yeah, he's an eek.
Yeah. Does that mean he comes back like bi-monthly?
Yeah. Wait, does that mean twice a month or every other month?
I take it to mean twice a month.
Okay.
But
I hear bi-monthly and I hear every other month.
It's like semi-monthly.
Welcome to our new version of the podcast. After we talk about politics, we talk about grammar.
Yeah. I only do it this way because of my paychecks from work.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. So then they like talked about Shin a little bit. They talked about Marok a little bit. We don't have any kit info.
My favorite is the Marok write-up, and it was literally like, we don't know what to do with this guy.
Yeah.
He looked cool. Like that was it. Like he looked cool in the show. Yeah. We don't know what he does.
Which is hilarious. 'Cause I'm like, well, you know what he does now. You have his kit made.
Yeah. He supports his allies during a critical moment in the story. No, he just tried to kill someone. That's all it was.
He was a mercenary.
Yes, he was a mercenary. It's like about to get paid. Yeah.
And then they talked about Baylan. This legitimately just made me sad because Ray Stevenson is no more.
Yes.
And it just was sad to me. Like, I don't know. I just feel sad.
So two things. One, I will be referring to him as the Viking.
The Viking. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Only because, and oddly enough, we have a lot of listeners, and a lot of our guildmates in ODB are all out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
And the Viking cry for the Minnesota Vikings is Skoll, S-K-O-L.
Ooh.
So he's S-K-O-L-L. So I'm just going to call him the Viking, and I'm going to confuse everyone. Like I referred to something as Biggie Sis the other day in our guild chat. People are like, who the hell are you talking about? I'm like, tell me you don't listen to HNN without telling me you don't listen to HNN. All right, that's what I really want to know.
You're like, rude. You're fired.
Come on. You have to get your tickets, and you've got to listen to the show. It's that simple.
Everything's fine. Yeah.
They talk about this for his kit, and I'm glad to see they worked it in. But all right, we're going to talk about Ahsoka for a second, folks. So if you haven't watched it,
what the hell are you doing with your life?
Yeah, watch it. His fighting style is very much like I would expect like an armor-clad knight, just very like I've got a long I've got a broadsword and I swing this very heavy sword at people.
Hmm.
Uh, he swings a sword made of light. It should have no weight behind it.
Hmm.
But when he swings it, it looks heavy. And they called it out. They're talking about like the power with that. And I'm like, so I'm really excited to see how that pans out with his kit from that side. So
Yeah, it sounds like, yeah, I do like that they called that out too. It sounds like he's gonna be a really cool character.
yes. Uh,
Um, yeah,
what they refer to him as like almost he's going to be a tank, but he's going to be a bruiser or a juggernaut. I'm like, yeah, I kind of like the way that sounds.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited for him. Yeah, I think it's gonna be so good. Um, and then they talk a little bit about Ahsoka
Yeah,
and just like developing her basically with CG Mouse, more like a Q&A,
yep, yeah.
and like all about making a GL and power creep and all that fun stuff. And then like out of nowhere, which by the way is not even formatted really on here. Can I just criticize this a little bit? Like we're literally are talking about Ahsoka, talking about GLs, balance, yada yada yada. And then in the exact same font size, style,
Yeah.
everything. We're also excited to provide you with a look at a new ship. Like if you were just browsing for the headings, you would have missed this until you. And they have a whole blurb about punishing one before they even bold the punishing one as a teeny weeny heading.
In fact, if you're scrolling down, it says now for a quick breakdown from the designer, the Punish one. I'm like, oh, they hired a new designer for Ahsoka's kit. Like, here are more notes on Ahsoka's kit.
Okay, yeah. Because that's kind of what it looks like. Yeah. No. Dengar's getting a ship at some point today.
Yeah. All right. So I was asked to speculate on what ship comes out of the starting lineup because they call it a starting lineup. I will not do that. That
Yeah.
that requires a level of knowledge of a kit that doesn't exist that I think is insane. What I do want to speculate on is when do you think it's coming to the game?
Ooh, I think, okay. I actually, so I thought about this while I was, having my brain meltdown with dates and everything. I think this is going to be the December thing.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
where we normally get the character. I think we just kind of shimmy everything. So Baylan comes a little bit earlier, Ahsoka's in November, and then we get the ship at some point in December.
So we get a Christmas chase.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
I don't even know, like,
Uh,
is it a chase? Is it going to be an event?
I think it's the next Conquest character.
Ooh, okay.
I think this is, and honestly, I think it would be coming off of coming off of what is going to be let's call it what it is. 6 Omicrons, 4, 8, 14 Zetas in the month of November.
Ew.
3 months of a conquest ship which really turns into 6 months until you need to put another 3 Zetas on a character. I think that's a nice
Yeah.
break for the community coming out of what is going to be a resource drain in the last 2 months of the year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then would we just not get anything in December?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people would I think a lot of people would balk at the idea of another character coming in December.
I would, 100%.
It's
If
just
they
a
dropped
lot.
another character in December, I'd be like, you guys are fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hard pass. Yeah, no.
Hey,
I don't.
I mean, you'd be sitting there swiping your credit card on the GG website, looking at little man going, well, you don't get Santa yet.
You don't know what this means. You could just summon my presents.
You're
Look
just
at
gonna
this.
scream when you have a picture taken
Yeah.
with him. So
Mommy bought herself a vault again. Doesn't really unwrap nicely, but
it doesn't. You can print the receipt out and put it in a box and wrap that up for later.
Yeah, no, I don't think we get a character in December because
I
we're
don't think so
getting
either.
like to have Baylan be in December is too far out. Unless they
Agreed.
really delay Shin and Marok, which
Well,
maybe, but I don't know.
Corn from ODB had made an interesting comment today, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can see it, and that is we could very easily pivot to a chase or two right now,
Hmm.
and then so that two chases puts us into October 1st,
Hmm.
which then punts Balin into December, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
because then you could do two chases, Shin and Marok in October, and then Balin in December,
Yeah.
and still deliver Balin at the end of the year. But I think that man, that seems like a long time to drag your feet around a character that a lot of people are excited about and was at the top of the not road ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you? Yeah, exactly. You're gonna make us wait almost 6 months? Like
Yeah,
that seems like a long
yeah.
time to draw this out. Yeah, I don't.
Along that, and this is a loaded question. You don't think that we're getting a capital ship this year, do you?
No,
There's no way in hell.
no way in hell. No way. As soon as I saw the road ahead that wasn't a road ahead back in July, I was like, no capital ship this year.
Yeah,
We're done.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe a ship, but which clearly we are getting, but like not a
yeah,
capital
yeah.
ship.
Uh, I also and look, I'm excited about the punishing one because again, they heavily implied we were getting it when the executor came to the game. You know what, 4 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to pivot that fleet. I don't think CG wants it to pivot that fleet the way that they. I think it's going to be a lift like Bad Batch was to Negotiator,
Right. Yeah. That's how
not
I'm
turn
reading
the
it as
executor
well.
back to the top of the list.
Yeah. No. Like they're saying Leviathan will remain a difficult matchup,
Yes. Yeah.
but Executor should be able to hold more consistently against everyone else.
Yeah.
So they still want Leviathan to be top dog, and then
So Thrawn versus the triple attackers, it's not a thing.
yeah, no.
That's going to go away.
Yeah, so this is it'll be interesting. I'm curious how they're gonna when they'll do this and how they'll do this.
Yep.
There's a lot to come before December. So that was a really good on ramp ahead, CG.
What's crazy about it is with this one, we got more questions than we got answers. We did get answers, but I think we
Yeah.
have a ton of questions coming out of it.
Yep.
But they seem like people are excited about the questions, not what the hell, why didn't you tell us this? What the hell, why didn't you tell us that?
And these are all questions that they're to me, I'm not concerned about the answer in a like, did you think this through properly kind
Yes.
of way, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's more of like, I'm curious. I want to know more
Yes.
because it's exciting. But yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to subscribe to your newsletter that we should have more than once every quarter.
Right. Right. Yeah. This was good. This was a good amount of information. It was a ton of information.
Yes.
Um, I approve of the community update post, Meathead.
Yes.
I know he lives for my approval specifically. Just can't wait.
Yeah.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Do this. I would take even like a post like this every 2 months. It doesn't even need to be this long but like a post like this that just is like, here's a whole bunch of info that
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yep.
Like that is good. It keeps me interested in the game.
Yep. Agreed.
So anyway, that's the community update. Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Do we want to talk about kits? Do we want to talk about Datacrons? We have a new set of Datacrons in game
We
right
do have
now.
a new set of
have
Datacrons.
We have a new conquest happening right now.
Uh,
Yeah.
so let's talk about Datacrons really quick.
Okay.
I keep delaying this because I haven't decided which of the two awesome kits I want to read yet.
Fair. I haven't read either of them, so you can take your pick.
I'm just excited about the characters in general.
I am
Uh,
too.
so before we talk about the Datacrons,
Yeah.
were you happy to see them go back to the traditional method of
Yes.
Datacrons or disappointed? I was as well.
Because on paper, I really liked
Yeah.
how they changed it. And then in practice, my brain could not handle it.
Strategy and execution. They
Yeah.
nailed the strategy. They fell flat with the execution. And again, I appreciate the effort.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Hopefully we learned something coming out of it. But yeah.
Yeah. I was quite happy that we went back to the old ways.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know how you can flip a coin
Hmm.
100 times and have it always land on tails.
Hmm.
But I got the worst of the two level nines every
Oof.
time I rolled a level nine.
That is that is bad news.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Um, I miss the ability to control what I'm getting.
Yeah.
That's the big thing for me.
Yeah.
Um, Too many
Valid.
random numbers together end up coming with like a 1% chance of getting whatever you want to. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um Okay, so we have Rogue One, Jedi, Night Sisters, and Imperial Remnants.
Yep.
Um,
Jedi surprised me.
Rogue One surprised me.
Isn't no, actually his wait, Luthen's Rogue One.
Luthen, yeah.
Yeah. We
Well,
were gonna get Rogue One only because Luthen
he's
was
like
yeah.
Andor slash Rogue One.
But he's a Rogue One
Is he?
character like tag, isn't he?
I honestly, I actually was doing the feat in Conquest today where he needs to survive, and for probably one of the first times ever, I actually used the typing thing because I was like, I don't know
I
where
don't
you
know what's
are.
happening. He, so he's got to be. I rolled him, so he's got to be. He's not a Jedi, and
He's got to
he's
be
a light
Rogue
side
One
character, so
then.
he's got to be Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why they're there.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Fair.
and then 11 billion Night Sisters
Yeah.
and 11 billion Imperial Remnants.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm not surprised by Imperial Remnants or Night Sisters given the marquees we've been having.
Correct. Agreed.
So, yeah.
Uh, what's interesting on the level nines? So Death Trooper expected it.
Hmm.
Luthen expected it. Pow. Okay, you're probably not because Luthen on Mon Mothma seems to be the answer right now. So Pow is kind of a wasted one.
Hmm.
Um, K2 and Cassian, great options. They'll go with what's his name, but again, you're going to get one of the other two.
Yep.
Um, are there are not two Death Troopers level nines. They just have it twice in the list.
Yeah, which also really confused me.
Yeah. Um, the Eth Koth one, I think, is everyone is saying is insane.
Because it's long text.
Yeah, exactly. If it's long test, it's got to be good.
Right.
Um, actually, they have Death Trooper pretty listed 3 times.
Oh, Jesus. Meathead, come on.
It's at the bottom of all 3 of the spoilers.
Come on.
Uh, and then we know we're going to get a Biggie Sister one as well for those that get
Yeah.
the Omicron. So um,
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
The whatchamacallit, the marquee. She's
Yep,
getting her
yep.
own special one.
So
Yeah. It should be fun.
someone said, I think it was Solo was saying that. Well, interesting. I don't see him on here, but I think he was saying that there's a Moff Gideon,
Yes, there is.
and it's massively broken right now.
So his is whenever Moff Gideon is inflicted with a debuff or gains a buff, he gains a stack of insight and stealth for 1 turn. When he gains 4 stacks of insight, he gains 100% turn meter. Whenever an Imperial Remnant ally is inflicted with a debuff, they recover 10% health and protection. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with Armor Shred, blind all enemies for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever he uses Subversive Volley, he deals bonus massive damage to all enemies, which can't be evaded. I could
That's
see.
that's dumb. That's dumb.
I can see why this is broken.
That's great. By the way, so Dark Trooper, whenever he critically hits an enemy,
Mhm.
gains 10% critical damage, defense penetration, and offense stacking max 200 until the end of battle. I built the sortie murder squad,
Okay, yeah.
um, which he now is. It relies on Death Trooper critting, so he's now at 100% crit. This will be a nice one when that's done, but uh, yeah, I don't see anyone using that Dark Trooper one until that's over. In fact, with what Dark Trooper does to Queen Amidala, I don't see anyone running 2 Imperial Remnant teams through PvP uh,
Mhm.
until the weird set is gone.
Yeah. Um, yeah. The Enoch one seems weird to me. Just like if he's in the leader slot, all allies are immune to critical hits. But like, doesn't he have negative 450% or plus 450% crit avoidance or something ridiculous?
He does, but you can still vulnerable black can actually
Mm,
they've capped it at 450% because they still wanted the ability for someone to crit. You can still there's a chance that you can crit. In fact, I have lost characters in Conquest to Conquest characters critting them, even though with the 450% crit avoidance on top of it.
yeah.
Um, this just means you're killing what 4 times 9 is 30. You're killing everyone else on the team 36 times.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to do it,
You
basically.
have to.
It's
Yeah.
guaranteeing it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like an interesting one to me. But
Um, Speaking of, as a quick aside,
mhm.
running an Enoch team in Conquest,
Mhm.
they're secretly going to be one of the best Conquest teams in the game.
They okay, so even at like I don't have the whole squad done. Like they're still like 4 or 5 stars
Yeah.
for me, like those 3. Even with them being that low, they are funny. Okay? Like they
Yes.
are hilarious. I really am enjoying them. Um I will probably use them just in general because I think they're
Yeah.
I can see once I do get them like stronger and 2 7 stars or with a really good
Yeah.
disc setup. Yeah, totally agree.
You get a couple stacks of blight on uh Death Trooper,
Yeah,
and he starts chomping, and it's like chomp dead, chomp dead,
yeah,
chomp dead. And you're like, oh, I just took out 4 characters. That's awesome. That's great.
yeah. Great, thanks, perfect.
Makes me happy.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is yeah. They seem like a very fun squad.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, other than that, yay, Datacrons.
Yeah, Datacrons are there.
They're there. We've got
Build
them.
them. It's our job.
Yeah, we're working on them. Um, okay. Do you know what kit you want to read?
I think I want to do Ezra.
All right. Do you want to read Ezra first?
Let's read Ezra first.
Okay. So,
Okay.
if you're living under a rock, this is the conquest character.
Yes, this is the Conquest character. I also would like to point out, because we were having this exchange a little bit earlier,
Uh-huh.
this is the most lyrical release of characters we have ever had in the game.
Yeah, man.
And the reason why I say that, so the episode is called The Great Moms Have Got It Going On,
Mhm.
as in Fountain of Wayne's hit, Stacy's mom.
So
We
good.
almost went with Better Than Ezra's Mother. We considered it was good. Grinding you in Conquest, it was good. Again, better than Ezra hit. Every time I hear Biggie Sisses, I think of Juicy by Biggie Smalls. It was all a dream. I was going to farm elite Marquees. It
Mhm.
was kind of a play on the opening line. Uh, Ezra is a specter. And every time I hear Spectre, I hear Eddie Money's song "Take Me Home Tonight" because the woman who sings it is Ronnie Spector, who was phenomenal in
Yeah.
that piece. So again, there's the weird. This is way too much of my head of what people are seeing right now. So, but Ezra Bridger, Exile,
Yes.
Alignment Light Side, Jedi, Spectre, and Support. So Spectre is a new tag.
Hmm.
Uh, so I'm also going to be like this is for folks that are listening on the on your stream. I'm going to be pushing up my glasses and doing a lot of well actually as part of this.
Yeah.
So Spectre, I I don't believe in any episode of Rebels,
Hmm.
and I've done zero research on this. I don't believe they ever referred to themselves as the Phoenix Squad.
Um, I don't know, actually. I don't think they
They
do.
refer to themselves as the Spectres.
I don't think they do. Yeah.
And
I'm
they're
trying to remember, and I just rewatched it, and I shouldn't say just. I rewatched it a few months ago,
yeah,
but I don't remember them.
they the characters, that group of characters of that show, their whole theme was apparition based on dead. You
Hmm.
had the ghost, you had the phantom, and then
Yeah.
you had specters one, two, three, four, five, six, and on and on. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum was never a specter. Her call sign was never Spectre. It
Hmm.
was Fulcrum.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see how they work that out. But again, when they talk about Spectre, like someone very early on, I was like, well, we're going to get Bail Organa. Organa. Bail was never a Spectre. Spectre was the people that actually lived on the ghost. That was their nickname. It was tied to the whole thing. So again, I'm very particular about this.
Hmm.
All right. So, and I actually saw someone say that was peak. I assume, oh, type peak. I saw a picture of Freddie Prinze Jr.
Hmm.
and Michelle Gellar the other day.
Yeah.
They don't look like they've aged a day.
They don't.
They've been married for 25 years. I don't know how they do it. It's not fair.
I don't know.
Um,
I.
and I will also say, and I will not tell anyone who,
Mhm.
there are two not necessarily prominent members of the SWGOH community, but two people that actually provide a massive resource to the community.
Mhm.
And they are both very good friends with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Man.
Yeah. And I asked them a million questions about it. So they actually have his number and they will not give it to me. So that's bullshit.
I wonder why. I just have to say, I was talking to Dar earlier about Ezra, and I can't unsee it. And now I have to tell you because I can't unsee it. So now I feel like you also can't unsee it. And we decided that we need to call Ezra JJ, and it stands for Jedi Jesus.
Exactly.
Uh, he's exiled, and I can't unsee it now. So he's JJ.
um, they're kind of hitting us over the head with that one, I think, on that show, but it's all right.
Yeah.
If I kind of want to picture Jesus rolling around in a beat up El Camino with a bunch of weird dudes who don't speak English. Like that's kind of what I'm seeing. So, because those are space El Caminos.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
All right.
gonna skip over a lot of the stuff, the strategy, and all those other pieces. Let's get right into the kit because I've been talking about Ezra for way too long.
All
So,
right.
basic fugitive defense. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict speed down on them for 3 turns. If this attack scores a critical hit, Ezra, Exile, and other random ally gain foresight for 1 turn, and target enemy is staggered for 2 turns.
All right. It's fine.
Good basic. That is just a regular ability. There's nothing special with that.
Mm-hmm.
Special one, Kanan's Legacy, Omicron, cooldown for unlock tier 2. That doesn't matter. Final text. All allies recover 40% health and protection. Grant all Spectre allies and the target ally protection up 50% stacking for 2 turns, and dispel all debuffs on them. Target other ally attacks and Ezra Bridger Exile assists, dealing 40% more damage, and both receive bonuses based on their tags. Jedi get tenacity up for 2 turns. Unaligned Force user gets defense up for 2 turns. Spectre backup plan for 2 turns, which can't be copied or dispelled, and riposte for 2 turns. Backup plan is Hera's
Yeah.
second special ability from her kit, so brings them back to life.
Mm-hmm. It's for like a mini savior.
Yep. I think the big question with that is, will Ahsoka get all 3 of those tags?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think she gets Jedi.
You don't think she gets Jedi?
No. She's
I
not
think
a
she gets
Jedi.
I think she gets Jedi. I don't think she gets Spectre.
She literally says, I am no Jedi.
But is she a Jedi by this point in the show? Has she gone back to the teachings? She is traveling around with literally the Jedi training bot.
I know. I know.
This is why I love her character because she's so complex. There's so
She's
much there.
she's so gray. Like she's
It
just
just yes. Yeah.
um look,
All right.
the hill I'm dying on with Ahsoka, she better get the unaligned force user tag.
Oh, if she doesn't, we riot.
We
I mean,
riot. We riot at dawn.
yeah, we just it's just
I have so the grant all Spectre allies and target ally whatever protection. I'm assuming the dispel is only on the target ally.
yes, that's the way that I read that.
That's how I'm reading it.
Yes. Um, but additional descriptive terms may be helpful or periods or commas to clarify these points.
Yes.
I mean, CG, because we're not even done reading actually this piece of the kit. It could have been grant all Spectre allies and target ally protection up, period. Target ally gains or
Yeah.
for 2 turns dispels all debuffs on those. You could have just done that.
Yeah.
Good times.
Anyway.
All right, so continuing on with that. Additionally, if target ally is Jedi, light side unaligned force user, or Spectre, they gain a bonus turn. If the target ally is Spectre, they also gain 100% offense on their next turn and will dispel all buffs from the target enemy and blind the target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be evaded on their next attack.
Oh.
That's get 100% offense on their next turn and will dispel all buffs from the target enemy and blind that target enemy for 2 turns, which can't.
If the target ally is Spectre, they gain. So the target ally gains the offense up
Yeah.
on their next turn.
Okay. Yeah.
And the target ally basically will have a dispel on their next turn, regardless of the ability they use, and blind whatever person they're targeting for 2 turns. That is very poorly worded.
Because they get it's basically on the bonus turn, they get the 100% offense, then it goes away. That's the way that I read that.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, guys, come on.
Man, okay. Carry on.
All right. Then, so Ezra is a support character. Ezra gains 2 stacks of resilient defense for 2 turns and 5 stacks of Purgil migration for the rest of battle.
I want a Purgil in game so bad.
And of course, they don't define Purgil migration in this piece of the kit. While in Grand Arena, Ezra gains 25 stacks of Purgil migration, and all Spectre allies gain backup plan for 2 turns, which can't be copied or dispelled. Good luck beating this team.
Man, that's gonna be fun.
And they said in the not road ahead that Ahsoka is a tank as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun.
Yay! Final text. Deal physical damage to target enemy 3 times. Oh, I'm sorry. Probably the title of this is Daring Advance. It's a Zeta and an Omicron cooldown of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Deal physical damage to target enemy 3 times and inflict healing immunity and offense down for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. For each critical hit scored, reduce the target enemy's defense by 30%, stacking for 1 turn. This attack gains 10% critical chance for each Spectre ally. If Ezra scores 3 critical hits, the target enemy is stunned for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. So, hit a lot. While in Grand Arena, each critical hit scores deals 20% damage based on the target's max health, which can't be evaded, and inflict buff immunity, healing immunity, and offense down for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, resisted. Reduce the cooldown of Daring Advance by 1.
Okay.
So
it becomes a 2-turn cooldown.
Yeah, and they also, if you crit all 3, you reduce their max health by 60%.
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing damage of 60% of their max. Yeah. Yeah.
And remember, Ezra is a support character.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ezra is a
yay.
support character the same way Dash
Yes.
is.
Yeah. Until you just said that, I forgot that Dash was a support character. So yeah, good times. Um, Unique one, Exile, Zeta, Omicron. At the start of battle, all light side Jedi allies gain foresight for 2 turns. Annoying. All Spectre allies gain tenacity up for 2 turns. Annoying. And Ezra Bridger Exile is exiled for the rest of battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. At
Okay.
the start of, yeah, he just goes off the map. Like all the other stuff's cool, but he's just gone.
Just rides off on a
Just
whale. Sorry, on a Purgle.
at the start of Ezra's turn, he gains 2 stacks of resilient defense, max of 4. So he
Okay.
taunts. Awesome. The first time each ally is exiled, they also gain 30% critical chance, 60% defense, and 100% max health and protection for the rest of battle.
Are multiple people being exiled? Can you
I
be exiled if you have friends with you?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's counterproductive.
Right?
Uh, the first time each ally loses exile, they gain 30% critical chance, 60% critical damage, offense, potency, and 30 speed.
What offense and potency do they gain? 60%?
60%. That's how I read that.
Come on,
Or they get
Meathead.
or they get 60% critical damage, some offense and potency, and 30 speed.
Yeah.
TBD.
Roll a dice.
Uh,
Pick a number. Throw a dart.
the first time Ezra is exiled, enemies can't assist or attack again if their attack is targeting Ezra. So they can only attack once.
Okay.
So that's like Jedi Revens. You
Right.
can't, yeah. Um, when Ezra loses exile for the first time, when
When isn't even capitalized here, okay? Can we just
okay,
proofread for the love of
this is
God?
word vomit. When Ezra loses exile for the first time, when he performs an ability, call a random ally to assist. How about
After Ezra
when
loses exile for the
exile for
first
the
time.
first time, his next ability will call a random ally to assist?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to read this next line and then I'm going to go off on a tangent. Allied specters have instant defeat immunity while Ezra is active. So Jedi Knight, or Cat, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So I have to send emails off to people that have an impact on my career on a regular basis. And I take those emails
Mm-hmm.
and I go to my internal version of ChatGPT because these typically will have maybe Cisco proprietary information inside of it. So I'm using our tool sets, but I will say, please check for spelling and grammar. And I paste it in there and it comes back and it says, dummy, this is what you should have typed.
Yeah.
Can we just get CG to ChatGPT is free. Gemini.google.com will do this for you.
You know who else will do it for you? Me.
All it takes is Meathead. You have to come on the show once a quarter and just talk with us.
I will sign an NDA and proofread your shit.
And not only will she sign an NDA and proofread your shit, she will hold it over my head that she actually knows what's coming and I don't. So good times, good times.
Oh, man.
So now let's talk about what Exile is. Exile can't attack, gain buffs, or gain other positive effects during another character's turn.
Okay, so you can't assist.
Can't assist. Can't get buffs. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Or gain other positive. Okay.
Raid bosses and Galactic Legends instead can't gain buffs, and any character who damages them gain crit damage up and health steal up for 1.
What? Any characters who damage the exiled characters or any characters who damage raid bosses in Galactic Legends?
Why are we giving crit damage up and health steal up to characters who hit our raid bosses? Or are that doesn't make sense. While in Grand Arena, the first time a Spectre ally gains and loses exile, they also gain 5% mastery per relic level on them.
Okay.
The first time a Spectre ally loses exile, they gain an additional 30 speed. These bonuses persist through defeat. They've yet to explain to us how we get
What?
rid of exile.
Okay. But like, if I've been defeated, does it really matter if I have an extra 30 speed?
Well, but if you are revived, if there's a revive mechanic.
Right. I guess we don't know if there will be a
Yeah.
revive mechanic.
Well, I mean, JJ should be able to bring the dead back.
You're right. He should be able to bring himself back
Exactly.
in 3 days' time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna need an extension on the Grand Arena timers.
I think what they actually just told us is we're going back to the 4-round territory battles, and if you lose him on the first, he'll come back for the fourth. That's what that is.
Okay.
Okay. So they haven't. How do you gain or lose exile? I mean, how do you lose?
They're gonna tell us, right?
I hope so. Hang on. I want to.
Are you skipping ahead?
No, I'm actually going back trying to read if tenacity up for 2 turns and Ezra Bridger is exiled for the rest of battle. So Ezra gets exiled, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. There has to be a way to get off of him.
Right.
I bet it's in someone else's kit. This is gonna be stupid. Just stupid.
I'm laughing at what
Man,
Dar
you
just
should-
called unique too.
But by the way, I'm now angry that I was excited to read Ezra and I should have read the Biggie Sisters because this one's just confusing.
Oh man.
All right.
Okay.
Ezra has 20% critical chance, and whenever he is inflicted with a debuff, he recovers 25% health.
Mhm.
That's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Light side allies can't have their cooldowns manipulated by enemies. All right, great.
Okay.
When Ezra uses an ability, he gains 5 stacks of Purgil Migration, max 50 for the rest of battle. When he deals damage to an enemy, he gains 2 stacks of Purgil Migration for the rest of battle. If the attack is a critical hit, he instead gains 5 stacks of Purgil Migration. Except at the start of battle, he can attack. So, yay.
Right. He's exiled.
When Ezra reaches 50 stacks of Purgil Migration, he gains a bonus turn and recovers 100% max health and protection.
Ooh.
The next enemy Ezra damages with an ability will be exiled for the rest of battle, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, or resisted, and all enemies are inflicted with ability block for 1 turn, which can't be copied, dispelled, evaded, resisted, and Ezra loses exile. Okay, so
okay.
All right.
So basically, he needs the whales to save him.
Yes. But here's the big but. Sir Mix-a-Lot. He chilling that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he can use Kanan's Legacy, which is not an attack.
Correct.
But that's it.
Okay.
But
is it just that he can't attack when, like, he can't be called to assist, but he should be able to attack.
No.
Right?
Exile can't attack, gain buffs, or gain other positive effects. Oh, during another character's turn. Okay, all right. That's what it is. During another character's turn. Whew. Well, hang on. Creative use of commas. Can't attack, comma, or gain buffs, other positive effects during another character's turn.
Let me go back.
Does that mean he can't? I know. Dar, maybe Purgils will be a large character in the game like Jabba, which would make Ezra an elite conquest character.
It would. Okay. I'm guessing this is all other. So during his own turns, he can do any of his abilities.
I hope so.
None of this applies because he's like a tree in the forest falling over and no one's there. But like it's still gonna make a sound, maybe.
Exiling your enemies is great. Exiling your friends is miserable.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna have at least 2 other characters under Ahsoka that are probably going to be new, which means it's going to be like, all right, I'm going to have to write another PowerPoint presentation to explain how all of these,
Right.
it's not a character with five abilities. It's four characters with 20.
You know what I kind of want to do? Maybe I'll do it for the next show that we have a kit. I kind of want to like print the kit off and then mark it with red pen beforehand and just show on our live show how much editing I took to it.
But my son is taking freshman literature right now, and they're doing all the sentence diagramming, and he's like, "This is so stupid. No one needs to do it." And I'm like, "Have you ever read a CG kit?"
CG skipped freshman
Skip
literature.
freshman English. Yeah.
Okay, so you got to get 50 stacks of Purgle Migration, and then Ezra
Yeah.
gets to come out and play.
Yes, and he sends you away.
Right.
You go inside, and I'm going to beat up your friends.
But he's only like, so you come out, you get 50 stacks, and then when Ezra damages, whoever Ezra damages next gets exiled.
Yes.
But like, he's not going to go back into exile and then come out again and as exile another guy. So like, you're only exiling one person.
So, but they in the exile ability, he talks about the first time each ally is exiled. So
right, which is why
how does everyone else?
I'm confused.
How does everyone else? Does Ezra hurt his own team?
I would. Does Ahsoka have exile somehow?
Well, she and Sabine both ended up exiled.
Right, that's why.
Spoiler.
Oopsies. Yeah, so there has to be exile happening somewhere else in other kits.
Yeah.
And yes.
But by the way, in Molpokey pointed out, like, can we please comment on Meathead's artwork? I will say that beard is absolutely like 32 AD level beard right there.
I'm trying to. Is this like? Is it supposed to be chest hair? Is it chainmail? I mean, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's better than what I could do.
Yeah. Look, I applaud Meathead's commitment to the bit.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That was a kit and a half.
It was.
Yeah.
I need him to be awesome, which means I need the rest of the kits.
Right. We need Ahsoka's kit.
Yeah.
And Jedi training Sabine.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to read Mamasitas?
Yes.
You call them
the biggie sisses.
The biggie sisses. I just would like to say, I don't know what happened. My brain just short circuited on Crate last week, and out of nowhere, I called them the Mamasitas. So,
and we learned that if you don't put the accent on the A,
yes,
it means two really different things.
Correct. Because ODBers love to Google translate things, apparently.
But before you read the kit,
yes,
can you put the image up? And I actually want to read something really, really cool in the inspiration that if you weren't planning on reading, I think people will miss.
Okay. So you want me to stay like on the top graphic with them?
Stay on the image right here because we'll need this for the description.
Okay.
So this, I believe this came out of some of the Disney Plus stuff. So for the inspiration, the names of the Great Mothers are Clathow, Actropau, and Laxus, and they are very much based on the Greek fates. The fates would spin a thread of a person's life and manipulate events by manipulating the thread, eventually cutting it at the end of a person's life. This is represented on the hoods of the Great Mother's wear. Laxus' simple hood represents the thread itself. Clothow's conical hood symbolizes the spool of thread the person's fate is drawn from. And finally, Atropau's 2 points represents the fate's shears performing the final cut, ending someone's life. This entire concept and symbolism was used in designing the doomed and blessed conditions via the fate weaving in the Gift of Shadows. That's really cool.
That is cool.
That is like super cool when I read that.
That's really cool.
And I had to keep, I told you to leave the picture up because I had to keep scrolling up and down as they were talking about it to figure out what it is. So
yeah, to look at their hoods and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
That just sidebar just made me think of Wheel of Time the whole time that was being described, and I was like, that's basically what they do in Wheel of Time. Okay.
So, by the way, Hippie Artist made a comment. Do we miss the days of simple kits? They used to be 1 or 2 sentences. Have you looked at any of the Jedi Council leaders' abilities?
No. Well, I mean, yes, but no, but yes.
Yeah. Anyone under Plo Koon gets 50 defense. I don't miss those.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss when they weren't mouthfuls, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also 1 or 2 sentences, not so great.
Yeah. All right. Mamasitas. So obviously Dark Side, Night Sister, support leader. They also have been confirmed as a large unit, so same thing as Jabba.
Yep.
And they are an elite Marquee. So this is a Marquee that is fancy.
It's fancy.
You know, it's like the pink Himalayan sea salt. You're like, what's the point? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's a Marquee that is extra strong. It's a Marquee on roids.
When I was in college in the 90s, everything was extreme, and we decided that the way you could tell something was extreme is if it was wearing if it had bright yellow included in it, because like that always seemed to be the thing. Like, so like I had a yellow ski jacket and I was extreme when I wore it. It's the same concept of elite. Yeah. It's just a level up for no other reason.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to skip all this lovely fun stuff. You're going to need them at Relic 7 for Baylan. They get their own little Datacron, apparently. This bothered me, by the way, and I'm pretty sure Molpokey pointed this out on Discord too. They spell magic differently. Because the Night Sisters of Peridia's abilities are slightly different than that of the Dathomiri, and this is represented by the altered spelling of their connection to the Force. You know what I think it is? I think it's because you don't have a proofreader. I think that's what it is.
I think that y'all need to let this go. And sometimes we spell y'all YALL, and sometimes we spell it JALL. It just depends on what part of the universe we're in at that time. So,
man, this is the equivalent of like, so in Canada, so in the US, Cheerios are labeled as gluten-free because of the ingredients in them. And in the States, the exact same box cannot be labeled gluten-free because in the US, they don't use specifically gluten-free oats. So here is my point with magic and magic. It's the same thing here. It doesn't matter to me whether it says gluten-free on the box or not in the States or in Canada. It's going to make me sick no matter what.
Yeah. Aren't grains gluten?
Mm-hmm. So oats are a gray area, which we don't need to go into on the podcast, but it's the same thing. Yeah.
Welcome to our new segment on H&N where we discuss nutritional facts.
We're having a great time. Yeah. So skip. Okay. Basic ability. Wow, this is a cool animation. Energy
Yeah,
threads, Zeta. And they're just all huddled in the corner over there. Wow, that is cool. Okay. Deal special damage to target enemy. If the target enemy was doomed, inflict tenacity down for 2 turns, and they lose 20% max health stacking until the end of the encounter, which can't be evaded or resisted. Otherwise, inflict ability block and speed down for 2 turns. Blessed allies gain foresight for 2 turns, and non-tank blessed allies gain stealth for 1 turn.
that's pretty cool.
So basically, if you're a tank, you get it for 2 turns.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But I like basic abilities that have the chance to remove 20% maximum health.
Yeah.
That seems like a good thing to have.
Yeah. Stacking.
Yes, stacking.
Oof.
Yep. I love it when they get just the 1 green bar. Like that's when I get really excited.
I love that. I love seeing like the bars just get fatter and fatter. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, special 1, Magic Storm, Zeta, cooldown of 3. Also looks like it's a fun little animation. Kind of makes me think of Wicked. If the enemy leader is light side, dispel all debuffs on all Night Sister allies. Dispel all buffs from all enemies, and doomed enemies are inflicted with vulnerable for 2 turns. Deal special damage 3 times to all enemies. If this attack defeats an enemy, all Night Sister allies gain defense penetration up for 2 turns. All right.
Not bad.
Oh, they only have 2 attacks?
Yes.
All right.
But then they do a bunch of other crazy stuff.
All right. Unique 1, To the Old Ways. This is an Omicron. Night Sister allies gain 30% accuracy, max health, and tenacity, but can't be revived. This effect persists through defeat. At the start of each encounter, and whenever an attacker, Night Sister ally, or Great Mothers is critically hit, attacker Night Sister allies gain foresight and stealth for 1 turn. Limit once per turn. Whenever
Morgan interacts with both stealth and foresight.
Yeah.
Like that's a way to trigger taunt on her, I believe.
Okay. Whenever an enemy is critically hit, Great Mothers and all Blessed allies gain 1% offense stacking for 2 turns and recover 2% protection, doubled if the enemy had vulnerable. Whenever a vulnerable enemy starts its turn, all Night Sister allies gain foresight for 2 turns, and all non-tank Night Sister allies gain stealth for 1 turn. Oh, okay. Whenever a doomed enemy gains turn meter, Blessed allies gain 25% turn meter. Limit once per doomed enemy's turn. I like that they gain the foresight and stealth before the enemy actually does their ability.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's called screw your damage, I believe, is what that internally was called.
Sorry. Rokaran is just blowing my mind right now that Wicked is being split into 2. I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be a whole movie at once. Oh, God damn. Okay.
Can I make a right turn on that whole Wicked thing?
Yeah.
I am not a smart person.
Okay.
And I saw that
disagree.
I saw that Ariana Grande
Yes.
was in it.
She's Glinda.
And I made a throwaway comment of like, oh, they're trying to turn a pop star into an actress, to which my daughter gasped, rolled her eyes, and said, Dad, she's Kat. And proceeded to give me her entire career synopsis in what was more of my life that I wish I could get back.
She was an actress turned into a pop star.
And I'm like, and as soon as I said it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna backfire. And yes, she was Kat from Sam and Cat. Yes. I do that. So
yes,
they're making a Wicked musical. From Hulk Hoagie. Yes, they are.
A Wicked musical. They are. While in territory wars, whenever a vulnerable enemy is critically hit, Great Mothers and Blessed Allies gain 5% turn meter. The first time any other Night Sister ally is reduced to 1% health. Ooh, okay. That's a lot of stuff. Dispel all debuffs on themselves. Gain Blessed for 2 turns if they didn't already have it, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And damage immunity for 1 turn, which can't be copied.
Yay.
Recover 100% health and protection and have their cooldowns reset. Yay. They are defeated when Blessed is removed. If they were already blessed, they have plus 200% health steal and gain 20% defense and offense. This effect can happen once per battle. Now, is that once per battle on each ally? Or
that's the way I read it.
Ever.
That's the way I read it, is on each ally.
Okay. So
because it is the first time they or any other Night Sister ally.
Right. Yes. And then so they are defeated when Blessed is removed. So they're only around for 2 turns, essentially.
Yep.
And then they pop off and they can't come back. Okay. Leader, Threads of Destiny, Omicron, because Elite Marquee, we get 2 Omicrons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a thing until it's not a thing.
Correct. Night Sister allies gain 30% defense, max health, and 30 speed if all allies are Night Sister at the start of battle, at the start of each encounter, and end of each turn. Okay. At the start of each encounter and end of each turn. If there are no enemies inflicted with Doomed, Great Mothers dispel ability block from themselves, gains the granted ability Fate Weaving, and takes a bonus turn. Now, okay. During this bonus turn, Great Mothers can only use Fate Weaving. Great Mothers can't use Fate Weaving 2 times in a row. If the enemy leader is light side, dispel stealth and ignore taunt effects while using Fate Weaving. Okay.
Read the next paragraph. It'll make more sense why.
Okay. If all allies are Night Sister at the start of battle, at the end of each turn, if there are no other allies with Blessed, Great Mothers removes ability block from themselves, gains the granted ability Gift of Shadows, okay, and takes a bonus turn. During this bonus turn, Great Mothers can only use Gift of Shadows. Doomed enemies can always be targeted by Blessed allies and Great Mothers. Okay. Hold up.
Yeah.
So
this is where it gets confusing, but also pretty cool.
So they only get Fate Weaving if there are no doomed enemies.
Correct.
And they always will have Gift of Shadows. Oh, no, wait, sorry. They only get Gift of Shadows if there are no allies with Blessed.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. But they're going to take a bonus turn like every turn because it's each turn.
As long as they will always get a bonus turn as long as somebody doesn't have Doomed or somebody doesn't have Blessed. If you have a Doomed and a Blessed character on the board, they don't get the bonus turn at the end of a turn.
Okay, got it. Yes. But my point being that it doesn't matter who takes a turn. Like enemies or allies, they will get a bonus turn if nobody has Doomed or nobody has Blessed.
Yeah. So take a turn, put Doomed out.
Mm-hmm.
Then the enemy takes a turn, dispels all debuffs.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately take a turn and they can put Doomed back on another character.
But would they not be able to do that? Because if you put Doomed out, you're using Fate Weaving.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't use Fate Weaving twice, 2 turns in a row.
Right.
But all right. So if you put Doomed out,
mm-hmm.
all right, then they took a turn, and then they remove. Even if they remove Doomed, if there's no one that you have with Blessed, you're immediately going to get a turn, and you're going to put Blessed out on someone.
Yeah, you're going to do the Gift of Shadows thingy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next character takes a turn, and then you get a turn, and you put Doomed back out.
Right. Okay. So Fate Weaving is target enemies inflicted with a stack of damage over time for 1 turn and doomed. So
Yep.
exactly what we thought. And then,
Although it can't be copied, resisted, or dispelled, so I guess you're not taking it off from that standpoint.
right. Doomed is protection is disabled and can't stealth. Lose 20% max health whenever this character ends their turn until the end of the encounter. Can't revive. Raid bosses in Galactic Legends are minus 5% defense. Cool. Cool.
So you lose all protection forever
Yeah.
until the end of time. Uh,
You
you
can't hide.
you can't hide, and every time you take a turn, you're like, oh, I'm dying a little bit on the inside. Oh, by the way, you also get 1 damage over time.
Yeah. Just one.
Just one.
Just need one. And then Gift of Shadows. Target other Night Sister ally gains Blessed for the rest of the encounter or until defeated, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And Blessed is plus 20% max health and offense, immune to instant defeat effects, stun, and turn meter reduction. Assist whenever another Night Sister ally uses a special ability on their turn, dealing 40% less damage. Oh my gosh, we still have an Omicron. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. While in Territory Wars, Night Sister allies gain 30% max health. 30% defense, max health, and 20 speed. Great Mothers gain instant defeat immunity while a Blessed ally is active. Doomed enemies have minus 30% defense and offense. Whenever a doomed enemy is defeated, all enemies are inflicted with fear for 1 turn. Whew.
So this kit basically says, don't bring that bullshit cat around here.
Right.
Ever.
Right. And this is the exact same thing I just read.
Yes.
Just with their animations.
So when you said they've only got 1 special, they technically have 3. It's just depending on what's going on at any point in time.
Man, do you get like a fancy little blessed icon on you?
I've got to imagine they're blue icons.
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
I think these are blue icons.
That was really long for that. That's why it's an elite marquee, because the kit is so long.
I'll be honest. With as much as we pick on them for kit wording,
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job of breaking down the leader ability with the complexity that's in the leader ability.
Yes, my brain fried a little bit, but it got there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the short answer is you're going to get a bonus turn if you can either cast Doomed or Blessed.
Yeah.
And once they're on the table, the bonus turns go away.
Yes. Yes to all of that.
And in Territory Wars, because you get a bonus turn at the start of an encounter, you're going to put Blessed on someone, and then Jedi Master Kenobi can't do anything.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the kits. That's the news. It's only been almost 2 hours. It's like an hour and a half, and we're just finishing the news. Because the kits are so long. What's our big topic here?
Nothing really exciting is going on.
Yeah. Is it this elite marquee thing?
So I think for me it's 2 things. The mercenary thing I think is big, but it's the elite marquee. It is watching people in the community functionally shut down because this does not fit into the box that they've defined that CG needs to release characters into.
I mean, to me, I'm like, it's the same release style, so I'm fine.
I'm pretty sure Bodhi had to write a whole new tab of his spreadsheet, and he's got a whole new chart for it.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a marquee that released that was crazy strong. Bosk was really strong at the time when he was.
Bosk was really strong.
He was a marquee, wasn't he?
He was. I think Zori was a really strong Marquee,
Hmm.
and I think Iden was a really strong Marquee.
Yeah, there have been strong marquees. So I, this didn't send me into a tizzy. It was quite
No, yeah,
entertaining
yeah.
to watch.
So I know someone I think it was Bane on the Discord made a comment back that like, oh, the what's going to define an elite marquee is two Omicrons. And I know he said it somewhat tongue in cheek because he was trying to give me a hard time about that. No, no, no. I disagree with that. What I think just happened is CG just opened the doors to marquees needing two Omicrons.
Yeah.
That's all this is. They're like, oh, invite the elite marquee into the house. We also brought 75 of its closest friends for the next few releases that we're doing. So, um, yeah,
Um, and I also feel like they will eventually just stop calling them elite marquees, and it's just going to
yeah,
be marquees.
yeah.
So
Look, folks, we just can't make a board big enough for you all to be happy in PvP that won't also involve you complaining about the amount of time you have to spend in PvP. So understand the game is no longer built around release cadences.
hmm.
It's built around Datacrons, and Datacrons are setting the meta. That's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's always Datacrons. Um, okay. I feel like I can't talk about a big that's no moon topic because
I, I think we hit on all of them.
yeah, I think we did. Um, Bantha in the room. I don't really have a negative thing lately. Do you feel negative? I don't really feel negative.
Oh, I've got a bunch.
Ooh, okay.
I've got a bunch. First, I'm tired of Mole Pokey. I'm so sick and tired of Mole Pokey.
Uh,
That list that he just literally willed into an existence
it was
45 seconds after the release of the Elite Marquee of recategorizing every character release made me hate myself that I just can't be that smart and that witty on that short of a window.
I admire his brain. I can't I don't know
I
how he
just,
does it.
God, I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And
I
he get
literally am crying right now. That list was beautiful.
and he's when he was on Boxing's show from time to time, and again he's just this really well thought out individual, and he again it's people start speculating things, and he's very like, well, it could be, and he never. It's so God, he just I hate him. I hate every piece of him.
uh
I'm kidding. I'm saying that with the utmost respect. It was awesome. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you're gonna have to join the HNN Discord server, and you're gonna have to go and just there it goes. I'm gonna leave Bantha. I hate him. Oh, just
oh my god.
so terrible,
Uh
so terrible.
oh man. I'm literally crying.
All
Oh,
right. So that's the first one.
okay.
The second, I mentally wrote some complaints about Conquest and
Yes.
like the fact that they are double dipping. Like, you need Morgan in Sector 1 and then you need Morgan in Sector 2, and it makes it really difficult to do all these things. And I, of course, rushed through everything. And because the smart people actually figured out things the day before, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm the idiot because I rushed too far ahead. And it's like, oh, 35 Morgan kills without trying anything. Like, so yes, the everyone fix it. Look, I move too fast through Conquest, and then people find a better mousetrap, and I'm stupid. And then on top of this, and some people understand what this is. I also hate mousetraps that cost 20,000 US dollars,
Yeah.
and I hate companies that are trying to sell me a $20,000 mousetrap, and I will just leave it at that. So, you know who you are. If they want to sponsor the show, I'm more than happy to take them on, but I will not feel good about taking that money, but I will take their money.
Maybe you
Um,
could just like give them some fabric and thread from the big Mamasitas and you could
exactly.
just open up your own little boutique.
I'm just gonna put an iPad up in my attic just with a loop of the Biggie sisters running in the background. So, uh,
uh, yeah, yeah. Um. Okay. I have a very weird I love you. I know.
okay.
I don't know. I don't even know if I should put this on I love you. I know. I feel a little bit bad about it, but um, I think everyone knows by now. Professor X has gone on to greener pastures. He is somebody else is playing the account. X and I aren't involved in it at all. It's been given away, and uh, it's kind of nice to go back to one account. That is my I love you. I know this week.
Oh,
I was sitting this and it because so as of Saturday or Sunday, I no longer had the account. So I had a couple of days before Conquest, and then Conquest started, and it started on Monday as it normally does, which was a holiday. And I was sitting around and I was doing Conquest, and I had the whole first sector done, all of the feats figured out, videos recorded in the first 2 hours of Conquest being live. And I was like, this is weird. This is a little weird. Which,
I don't
granted,
know about this.
part of it was that Monday was a holiday. But then as like Tuesday went on and Wednesday went on, I was like, huh, I'll have to switch accounts.
I got an hour's extra sleep.
Yeah, I was like, huh, I don't need to go into the game right now in a panic. Huh. I was like, this is kind of nice. Yeah, so it's been a refreshing week. And I'm going to bask in it for the next 40 minutes until I play the fucking raid.
uh, I know your pain. As I said, I'll be ready to record in a minute. I'm running my last raid run.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And I am somewhat because of the last 6 weeks for me, I'm somewhat out of the loop. I knew that you guys were stepping away from Professor X. I was really confused when it happened
Mm-hmm.
uh, because I didn't catch who replaced him, and I'll leave that for the time being. Um, but my immediate question was, so there is X has a sub Professor X account, correct?
Yes,
Like
Prevail Man.
a Prevail Man. Are you doing Prevail Man in Conquest for videos as well, or is that all on him for the time being?
No, he's doing
Okay.
Prevail Man entirely.
And Prevail Man he's only pushing for gold box with that character, right? So it's not like he's trying to.
He doesn't even push for gold. He goes for the gold and silver, the fifth box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He calls it the lazy method because you still get the conquest character unlocked before they're removed from the
Okay.
reward crate.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about proving grounds. You're doing it in
So
6 instead of 3.
the least amount of effort to keep you out of proving grounds is
Correct.
what he's going for. That's it. Okay.
But then you
Okay.
can spend the most amount of time doing Datacrons because you're
Yeah.
ignoring feats.
Yep. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how you kept up with it. I have started secondary accounts 2 or 3 times, and I get about a week in and like, oh wait, no, now I have to start putting time and energy in, and I hate this.
Yeah, it is. I didn't realize how much it was like killing until I went back to work and the raid
Yeah.
and that's what killed Professor X. This raid killed Professor X.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
it wasn't anything else in the game. It was the raid. It was that neither him or I could justify spending hours on the raid.
It's even a case of this raid that even if you hit all 5 on one try, it's still an hour.
Yeah.
It takes forever to get through those waves.
Yeah. So it was and that's just what did it, and we couldn't make it work. So
Yeah.
I'm back to just my own account. Which, like,
Good.
realistically, Professor X was the exact same as my account, except that he didn't have Lord Vader.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, if you don't have Lord Vader, well, you're like a lot of the community, so I guess that doesn't make sense. So yeah, never mind.
What have you been enjoying?
Uh, I'm excited that Ezra is here, although reading his kit, uh, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Uh, I probably should have read his kit in a little bit more detail before but I'm really excited that Ezra is here. Uh, but I am super excited, super excited about my disk loadout that I'm currently using.
Okay.
And part of this is the first one I'm using because I'm still doing some of the geo feats, although that'll pull out, and I think I know what I'm going to do there. But it's Helping Hand, which you get a bonus for summoned allies, so you get a little bit of bump at the start. Assertive Command, which I believe that's the 50% chance to assist whenever someone uses an ability. Blindside,
Love
which
Blindside.
you add expose on an assist. Ruthless Offense, so the first time that you do damage to an enemy, you get the bonus piece, and then one Amplify Agony for good measure. And what I'm finding is that's the murder list of what I need, and especially with the geos and some of the geo feats. Um, and then the other piece, and again, I I shock myself how like I like I we talk about I have all the things, so I don't have to think about what I do a lot in the game. Um, I for some dumb reason figured out, hey, if I put some of these characters that I need to survive on teams that they normally just wouldn't and just run through them, like I can run them down to 0 stamina and make it work.
Yeah, you could literally just drag them along.
Yes. Night Sister Acolyte, and I'm looking at that, I'm like, man, this Night Sister team isn't great. Or I could just put her on an Inquisitor's team and then just have them do 10 battles. And oh, what do you know? I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Because you go in and you get to take a turn right away.
Yes. Yeah.
And everyone's already in the red.
Yeah. And then you just kill them. And it's I'm missing one on here. I've got the disc that gives you when they fall down to 1% health, they automatically heal back up.
Savior?
Yeah, so I've got Savior on there as well. That was the other big one because then that means that character that you need to stay alive through that entire fight stays alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I like
yeah,
these discs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like what they did with the discs this Conquest series. Obviously, like everyone misses Zealous Ambition, but it's still working really well without it.
I am essentially the build that I've been working on is a attack out of turn comp, and I love it. It's just so much fun. Like I'm just having, especially with like the geos. Oh, they're an attack out of turn team, so it's taking care of problems. So I'm really happy with that. I've had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And honestly, Amplify Agony probably will be the first disc that I drop out of that set because I just don't need it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
What's good with this setup too is you don't have any discs pumping out dots for you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about anyone stealing your kills.
Except for Blindside, because that actually does dump out debuffs and it can actually stack them up pretty heavily on that cat. Now, don't need to worry about it with Geos, but Blindside can stack those up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And again, the other great use of stamina refresh, you can get 15 Keller and Beck kills in Sector 4 in 15 straight fights.
Yeah. You literally just drag him along.
Yeah, you drag him with Queen Amidala, then you put him with General Kenobi, and then you put him with you do a stamina refresh, and then you pull him with Jedi Master Luke, and like, oh, you're done.
Yeah,
you're done. You win.
It's fine. Take the points.
Yeah. Call it a day.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to go to Discord Corner?
Let's go to Discord Corner.
Oh, okay. Tralix. In the kit reveal for Ezra, Meathead mentioned his viability with Starkiller. Do either of you agree with that?
Technically, yes. I mean, any Jedi in that entire kit,
Mm-hmm.
the Starkiller kit, the Jedi is literally like the least important character.
Yeah, you just need the Jedi
Yeah,
there, and preferably if they could be a tank.
if they can be a tank. Now he's going to get resilient defense, so he'll taunt once or twice, but he works. I, I there's a lot of other Jedi. I would put Jedi Knight Guardian in that spot before I would put Ezra.
I feel like Ezra is going to be too strong of a character to put on your Starkiller squad in
Yeah,
a role that doesn't need a strong character. Like
I put
Ezra.
my hand in my I put my hand on the keyboard and started shoving the word off the page. I'm like, oh no, panic.
I I just feel like that Jedi role on the Starkiller team is not as important as, say, the leader on your
Yeah.
Starkiller team. So yeah, I could see why they said it, but meh, I don't agree.
Any Jedi can fill that role.
Right,
They're a better Jedi.
right. Okay. And did he ask the second
He
question
has
too?
two questions. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
With Solo Base 15 being busy with 15 and a half, have you considered joining the Gambit podcast with Zareth for an episode, Sarah? Wait, actually, I haven't talked to Zareth about this at all. Probably because I feel like I exasperate him enough on Crate. And I, in good conscience, could not torture the Gambit community with my ridiculous GAC stories. And I can see it now where we're talking about something about some kind of team and whatever we did in our Grand Arena. I'm like, yeah, I did Wampa on that. And like, no way anyone that's listening to Gambit is still doing Wampa battles. I'm still doing Wampa battles.
For some reason, I thought you and I went on Gambit with Zareth once. Like Solo wasn't there.
We did.
And all I
we
remember
did,
is
we did.
Yeah, and all I remember is it's like midnight on a Monday. What the hell is wrong with you people? Like that it's just like, no, I don't ever want to do this again. I'm tired. I want to go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like they do a good job, and they don't need my shenanigans tainting their proper advice, PvP advice.
So here I have a legitimate question because I've heard this reference to 15.5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Was the young child a 15.5 pound baby? Like I don't get the reference.
I think it's just like, the little halfling, 15 and a half.
Okay. All right. Reason why I asked is we debated naming my son Liam, which would have made his initials LB. And then I was convinced that we were going to call him the Pounder. And then my wife decided that would not be his name. So
I mean, somehow Jasper's nickname has turned into Pooh Boy, so
that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I didn't see any in chat that
I did not. No.
I meant to scroll up, but I didn't see any during the show. So I think we are good there. There's no need to do a meta report. I am happy to say I only need 20 Leviathan shards, by the way. And somebody told me, one of the officers told me to do a refresh next event just to finish it. And I was like, why would I do that? That's 1,000 crystals that I can put towards a marquee.
Or 1,000 crystals I don't have to spend to just irritate you.
I could get Leviathan to 7-star this month, or I could get him to 7-star next month. Both times it's going to be before the next ship hits the game.
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Okay. Let's head to Uncle Owen's Moisture Farm to talk about who and what we're currently farming in the game. What are you farming?
So I somewhat buried the lead. 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
I took Cup in Ugnaught to R8, and I am done. The roster is all R8.
Oh, that's it.
It's all R8, or there's some R9s sprinkled in.
Damn.
For the first time in 8 years playing this game, I have nothing to work on.
What's that feel like?
I'm really excited to see what I can build up my mod stash. Sorry, not my mod stash, my relic stash to look like. So right now I'm trying to get 300 of each signal data, and then I'll try and go to 300 or 600 of each signal data, and then do 1,000 of each signal data. And when that's done, I think I'm going to stop farming signal data.
Wow. Because you could just start hoarding for the next raid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That is wild.
So I need to think about if I want to play with R9 or not. I'm trying to, I keep like every third day, I get the weird voice in the back of my head. I'm like, just take your Gungans up to R9 and make the raid easier. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make, because I think we're gonna get one more R9 for Ahsoka. Ahsoka is a galactic legend. I will take the R9.
Yep.
Baylan's going to be a tank. That's an R. So that's 3 right there. That's really hard. Like that starts getting into weird territory. So
yeah.
It's a weird, like as dumb as it sounds, like I am in as anti-hoarding as I've been, because I am very anti-hoarding. I'm really interested to see how resources stack up now, like how they start to spitball from that side. And I ran my stash down to, like, especially the yellow salvage stuff. I ran those down to like zeros to finish them off.
Right.
I'm back up over 100 of all of them.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I'm working on the Biggie Sisters when they come out this week. But yeah, that's where it is. So
dang. Man, okay. I am working on the Baylan and Ahsoka requirements. I have for Ahsoka, other than the Marquees, all of the requirements are done.
Yeah.
So Cat and Snips are Relic 9. The rest of them are whatever relic levels they need to be at. And then it's just like the 3 new Marquees are Gear 11 waiting for shards. I'm not refreshing on which one just went farmable. Was it Night Trooper?
Had to be Night Trooper. Yeah, that was the first one.
I'm not refreshing him. I thought about doing it, but I was like, it's so early in. Like, I think I could get up to 7-star without refreshing.
Okay.
He's already 5 stars. It's like 30 out of 85.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in refreshing. And I feel like if it starts to get close to the wire and I'm getting antsy, then I could start a refresh later on it and catch up. I don't think I need to do it right now. But yeah, it's just gear for them and signal, all of the signal data. Yeah, I think also I'm trying to decide if I should prioritize Baylan or Ahsoka.
So with all the character releases, which have been Ahsoka requirements and which have been Baylan requirements?
So Ahsoka is taking the troopers.
Okay.
So Enoch and the 2 zombie boys are going to Ahsoka. And then Baylan is taking Morgan, Biggie Sis, Thrawn. And then I'm assuming Shin and Marok would
Oh,
go into game.
so they said Thrawn. They said Thrawn's going to be a requirement.
Yeah, Relic 7.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, so Thrawn, Morgan, Biggie Sis, Shin is, I mean,
It's got to be those two.
yeah. And then, so then it's like, do I prioritize that? Because it's most likely going to be an event that comes and goes. Whereas Ahsoka is just going to drop in game.
So this is hard.
Yeah.
Um,
Or do I prioritize Ahsoka because I will have Ezra right away?
so respectfully,
Yes.
which is great. When you say that, you can say whatever you want to after that.
Yeah. Respectfully, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Because PvP is something you do and it's not something you care about.
Correct.
Uh, I would think that Baylan makes more sense
Baylan makes more sense.
because if Baylan's needed for something, the not available piece of Baylan
Yeah.
makes it a bigger of a challenge. Whereas Ahsoka, she's going to be needed for something,
But she's going to be there
but
all the time.
but she'll be there all the time. You can immediately like pivot and dump a bunch of stuff into her from that standpoint. So
right. Okay. Yes. If I have to immediately pivot, I could.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, she's probably gonna have an event that's gonna be a resource generating event, and you'll miss out on some of that from that standpoint. But like I think about Bo becoming a piece of territory battles, and if you didn't have Bo, you couldn't do that piece of like that would be my concern about Baylan from that side.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. That's what I was kind of thinking because he's not going to be there forever in the
Yeah.
game.
Hopefully he's back once a month.
I'm assuming he will be like Bo and come back once a month.
Yeah.
I shouldn't assume that, but I'm going to.
But still, 30 days is a long time. In 30 days, a lot of people are actually like getting to the Galactic Legend at the end of that 30 days,
Yeah.
in that same window. So,
and I feel like I've been keeping up pretty well with the Ahsoka requirements. It's just the Marquee characters, and I can't do anything if I don't have the shards.
yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I'm working on.
Awesome.
I don't have anything else to add. Do you?
I mean, I mean, we did again clock in another 2 hours and 15 minutes. I mean, uh, it's shocking when your schedule stretches to every 3 weeks, the shows get longer.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
But now, like, we should be back to sort of regular every 2
We
weeks.
should be. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Everything's fine.
We'll make it work. We'll figure it out.
Everything's fine. Okay, well, I don't have anything and you don't have anything, so I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Do you want to do the honors?
Sure. Thanks for joining us this week. That ought to do it. Until next time, Chewie, we're home.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording.
Recording stopped.
And we're still on the stream. And that's it. So thanks for hanging out, guys.
Thank you, everyone. I'm still shocked that people sit there for 2 hours
and listen to us rant.
Yeah. I mean, I look at you on video and then my self view is above it and I want to choke the shit out of me 45 minutes in. I don't know how anyone else wants to.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to end the stream and then we'll be good.